John has had a week of testing this week, specifically to do a functional threshold power test, because way back in September we did one at the start, so we could get an idea of John's zones.
Oh, well, that was fun.
It's always interesting after you've done a bit of training stimulus, to see whether there's been any changes and any improvements. No change doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't any improvement, it just means that that particular marker hasn't improved. The other test that we also did was some short power tests, specifically to look at his power around VO2 max, which is another good fitness marker for endurance athletes and athletes in general. For those of you who follow the EBR Cycling Club, you will be familiar with the test. It's exactly the same test that is in your plan. So if you've done it, you will also feel his pain. This went really, really well. We were really pleased. He had some great power output, the best he's had in 3 years. Really, really exciting to see, especially given we haven't really been targeting that as an area. But it just shows that frequent, regular training can really push your fitness markers up, even if you're not specifically targeting a particular area. So we had some very short sprint powers of just a few seconds. We had some 90-second efforts, and we also had a 5-minute effort. And in between each of those, there's lots of rest, because you want to be as fresh as possible for the next effort. The next test we did was the functional threshold power test, and again, EBR club members, you will be very familiar with this. Even if you're a runner, we use the same test for runners and cyclists. So John did the test and he didn't complete the half hour. I think he just set off a little bit too fast, which surprised me because he's really good at pacing normally. But off the back of lots of work stress, I think that might have also impacted his ability to maintain the power he'd set out with. His heart rate also went up quite high, which suggests that he was just too much of a keen bean and wanted to make bigger gains than maybe he had. He did, however, manage 20 minutes, and it is his best 20-minute power for a long time, so that in itself is great. But in reality, that still gives us pretty much the same modelled FTP he was when he started. Having said that, the last test he did outside, and it is much easier to produce power outside. So the likelihood is that his FTP has gone up, but given that he's probably going to be doing a lot of his speed workouts inside on the trainer, there doesn't seem much point in changing. So, looking forward to seeing how the week goes. I'll see you all soon.